That way I can't forget.
Right.
Yeah, I figured out a way.
Just don't confuse yourself later. You think, oh, should I press the button again?
Yeah, Kosuke, that's fine that you can only watch and hear. That's fine. Most people will be that way.
Yeah.
The way this system is set up with the webinar that we're using, you can't actually chat or share your video back. It's a feature designed for large audiences. Now, we don't have a massive audience today, but that's the feature of this particular setting that we're using today is even if your laptop was able, you wouldn't be able to broadcast video and audio today. Just Kitty and myself.
Yeah, and we will mainly use chat.
Chat box, yes.
So yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. Also, I mean, in today's world where everybody's using these tools more and more, it actually helps if we keep the bandwidth down by not sharing too much anyway. Morning, Kyle.
Morning. So we have one panelist now. Thank you, Kyle.
How are we doing for time? About a minute or so.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start doing introductions. So as I said earlier, just for those of us who are here at the moment, yeah, a smaller group today, partly because it may be the time, but also the lead-in for announcing this particular session was a little bit shorter, but it's okay because actually with only a few of you here, that means you get more chance to ask your specific questions when we have some time at the end, okay?
We have people from Vietnam, Japan, and Thailand.
Yeah, and maybe some other places, but we don't want to guess.
Yeah, and now we have one from Singapore as well. I can see Will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Kitty. Hi.
Hi, Will.
Very good. Okay, well, we might make a start because we are at 10 o'clock now. So welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome
And Will, can you just turn off the video then? Yeah.
Thanks.
If you want to keep it on.
Okay.
All right.
Great. So welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to take a look at a Reading Explorer, kind of a mock lesson for you to experience and see how you feel about this particular program, more as a student view. So we're going to be looking at a taste of two cities today. And this is designed for students who are in the range kind of A2 to B1 on the Cepher scale. And what we're going to do today is we're going to use one of the features in this webinar software. We will use the chat box. You will see some other tools at the bottom of the page. You can see those on the screen at the moment. The chat feature we will use. We will not use raise hand or Q&A. We've disabled those today. But the one thing to do, as I've already mentioned to some of you, is if you can please change your chat box to say all panelists and attendees, as you can see on the screen. So if you're on the chat box, exactly like where you type, immediately above that, there is a drop down box. So if you can go to that and change it to all panelists and attendees, then everybody on this call will be able to see your comments and see your chat. Okay? So if you forget, if you haven't done it, I'll remind you as we go along. But the chat box is the main way we will interact with Kitty. She's doing the presentation today. Okay. So on that note, I'd like to introduce Kitty. So Kitty Zhang is one of the trainers here at National Geographic Learning in Asia. Kitty's got nearly 20 years of experience, in English language teaching as a teacher trainer, as a content writer, as an editor, as a curriculum designer, doing professional development with teachers and a lot of other things. She's an academic marketing manager as well, so she does a lot more than just training. She's involved with many facets of the work that National Geographic Learning does in Asia. And she works with a lot of teachers in the region. She has worked with literally thousands of teachers in trainings, in development sessions, giving them ideas and lots of things today. So we're really honored to have Kitty here today to take us through this and see how she presents the material that we're looking at today, but also some of the key kind of facts and features that she can share with us based on her experience with using this kind of material. So welcome, Kitty. How are you feeling today?
I feel good. Thank you,
That's
Andrew.
good. Okay, no
Okay,
problem.
and
So I'm going to turn off my video and I'll mute myself and I'll let you get going.
great. All right. I also want to say thank you, everyone. It's really great to meet all of you here online in this situation. And I do hope everyone take care of yourselves and also your families. So welcome again to National Geographic Learning online training session. Before we start, I'd like to talk a little bit about our company, National Geographic Learning, and also a bit background of this program we're using in this session, Reading Explorer. At National Geographic Learning, our mission is to bring the world to the classroom and classroom to life. And we have partnerships with National Geographic and also TED Talks. So we can integrate National Geographic content like their photos, videos, their Explorer stories in our English learning program, and also TED Talks. And these partnerships have allowed us to create a unique offering of language learning materials from kindergarten through university, from general English programs to academic skills programs. And in this session, because we're going to read together one text from Reading Explorer 3rd edition. And this is an academic skill program, a reading program. Right? It was also one of the very first projects we did with National Geographic, and it's proven to be one of the most successful. Now it's used in over 70 countries around the world, and nearly 3 million copies have been sold over since its first edition. Now it's in its 3rd edition. Okay. So the text we're going to read today is A Taste of Two Cities. It is from Unit 5, Level 1, as Andrew mentioned, which is for A2 to B1 level students. We're going to do together some pre-reading, while reading, and after reading activities from the book, but not all of them because of the time. And in this part, okay, when we do those activities, you need to kind of switch your role between being a student and then being a teacher in this session, all right? Okay, so as we said, we're going to read one reading passage from Reading Explorer, and then we're going to do some different activities for this reading text from the book. In the end, we will reflect and discuss these activities and ideas we have done. All right, so are you ready for a reading exploration? Let's start. Great. Okay, so first, now I'm showing you a photo on the screen. So look at the photo. What can you see in this photo? And what do you think it is going on here? Do you have any idea? What can you see? You see lots of people. A festival in Japan. A girl is dancing, not only one girl, right? It's either a celebration or a festival. Great. And yeah, so someone said, yeah, flash mob. Okay. Okay, someone says it's a festival in Japan. What made you think it's a festival in Japan? Because these people, they're wearing traditional Japanese costumes. Okay, all right. Okay, so now where do you think it is? The decorations. Okay, it's a Japanese traditional festival. It's in Japan. Kasuku, you are so sure, right? Let's see. Actually, yeah, we see people are doing a traditional Japanese show, but it's nowhere in Japan. It's actually in this city, as you can see here, right? Okay, Sao Paulo in Brazil. And this photo of the show was taken in this neighborhood here called Liberdade in Sao Paulo. So now another photo. What can you see? What do you think is going on in the photo? Another carnival festival. Yes, it's a carnival festival. So actually it's called Festa Samba. Okay, where do you think it is? In Brazil, like, yeah, we have lots of teachers think it's in Brazil. But again, surprisingly, it's nowhere in Brazil. It's here in this city. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's called Hamamatsu in Japan. Actually, yeah, we do have a teacher from Japan here, right? Kasuki, yeah. So actually in Hamamatsu, they have this event, Festa Samba, every year. Okay, so now we have these two cities on the two ends of the world, right? Hamamatsu in Japan and Sao Paulo in Brazil. And if there is a direct flight, okay, you can fly from one city to the other. It takes you about 30 hours to get to the other city. So what do you think is the connection between these two cities? Do you have any idea? Why we talk about Hamamatsu in Japan and Sao Paulo in Brazil? What's the connection between these two cities? You may still, yeah, think, celebration of common festival. Yeah, because you see, yeah, in Sao Paulo, they celebrate a Japanese festival. And then in Hamamatsu, they do Festa Samba. They're sister cities. Yeah, we do have this kind of sister cities, right? They kind of help each other and have this close relationship to each other. Oh, someone's gonna show us the answer, celebrating, okay, diversity. All right, let's read and find out. The reading text is A Taste of Two Cities. So as we mentioned, it's from Unit 5 in Level 1. So this is the scope and sequence of Reading Explorer 3rd edition Level 1. As you can see, okay, on the left here, you can see all the units. And then in every unit, okay, so this is the theme of every unit. Then you can see 2 reading texts for every unit and also a video lesson for every unit, okay? So we are doing this one, all right? So Unit 5, City Life, and we're doing the second reading, A Taste of Two Cities. Okay, and this is how the reading text looks like in the book. Before we read, we're going to do one pre-reading activity. Now look at this photo. It's a quite famous place. Do you know this place? Have you ever been there? Have you ever heard of this place? No idea? You've been there. You can't tell the answer. All right, Chinatown in somewhere. Like Chinatown in Japan, but yeah, it's not Chinatown in Japan. It is Chinatown. It's Chinatown in London. Okay, so now I want you to read this short paragraph, and then we're going to match the definitions to these 3 words. Okay, settle and immigrants and neighborhood. Can you just read it? And let's see. So an area in a city where people live is the definition to which word? Great, neighborhood, okay? And then to go and live somewhere for a long time, you settle in there, right? Okay, and what do we call people who have come to a foreign country to live? Immigrants. Okay, So now, if you think back about the question, what is the connection between these two cities? Do you have any new thoughts now? All right, now let's start our reading. Okay, so this is the first paragraph, paragraph A. I want you to do a quick scan of this paragraph. Okay. Okay. Right. And I didn't really show you the whole reading yet. I only showed you this first paragraph, but I want you to try to answer this reading comprehension strategy question. What is the main purpose of this passage? A, B, or C? No guess yet? All right, I do have some answers. Ooh, we have all, right, A, B, C. Okay, that's a bit confusing, right? Okay, let's see. So actually in Reading Explorer, in every unit, we teach two different reading comprehension strategies. And in this is actually from foundations level, which is one level below this one, okay? In Unit 5, we've already taught this reading comprehension strategy, identifying the purpose of a reading paragraph. And it says the first line of a paragraph and its heading, if there is a heading, okay, can give you clues about its purpose. So now if we look back again at this paragraph, the first sentence, the city of Sao Paulo, Brazil has hundreds of Japanese restaurants. And we don't have a heading in this paragraph, but we do have one question at the end, right? Why is each country's food so popular in the other? So a question sometimes can has the similar function as a heading. So now if you read the first sentence and also this question, what is the answer? B, okay? So the purpose of this whole reading passage is to explore the role of food in immigrant communities. All right, now this is the second paragraph. I will play the audio now, okay? So what you need to do is just to listen and to read along.
In 1908, people from Japan began moving to Brazil to work on coffee plantations. Many of these Japanese immigrants, called Nikkei, moved to Sao Paulo and settled in a neighborhood called Liberdade. Like many immigrants, they spoke their native language and prepared traditional foods from their home country. Over time, the Nikkei opened many Japanese markets and restaurants in the Liberdade district. Today, this neighborhood has one of the largest Japanese communities outside of Japan.
Okay, I stopped the audio here because I want you to read the rest of this paragraph, okay, to the end. And then think about this reading comprehension question. What does the event here, okay, in the last sentence refers to? So you read from here. Okay. Do you have any idea? What does the event refers to here? Traditional food, weekend street markets. Lovely. All right. So let's say again, actually this reading strategy has been taught already in the foundations level. Okay, so level below this one. And then it's called the Pronoun Reference. And it says, yeah, usually refers to a noun earlier in the passage. So if we look at the event here, and if we refer back a little bit earlier, it says, oh, street sellers sell traditional Japanese goods and foods. And what does that mean? If you refer back, and it says, each weekend there is a large street market. So yes, the event here refers to the large street markets, okay? So now you know how to do referencing. So this is the strategy we use, right? And let's try another one. So this is the first part of the third paragraph. Can you read quickly and then tell me what here, okay, many refers to that? In the 1980s, 3 generations after the first Nikkei set. All right. Any idea? So what does many refers to? Great. I see an answer from Tram, Kosuki, yeah. Okay, B, yes. So as we say, right, you need to look around and refer back. Okay, so the sentence before this one says over 300,000 Japanese Brazilians moved to Japan, mainly to work in electronics and automobile factory. And many of them, okay, settled in Hamamatsu, a city on the east coast of Japan. All right. So you get the correct answer, okay? So I've just showed you 2 examples from the reading comprehension activities for this reading text, okay? I showed you number 1 and number 4, okay? Identifying the main purpose and also referencing. But as you can see, there are more, okay? For example, for this reading text, we have identifying details and also inferencing. So actually, comprehension activities in Reading Explorer always have these reading strategies marked like this. So it is easy for teachers to understand what kind of comprehension strategy we are training our students. And then it's easy for teacher to refer to where these strategies are taught. So where are they taught? You can always refer to the scope and sequence, all right? This is the scope scope and sequence of the foundations level. So the same, right? Structure, unit theme, 2 reading text for every unit, video lesson. And then on the right, you can see academic skills, and there are 3 columns under academic skills. The very left one is called reading skills. This is where you can see, okay, what kind of reading comprehension skills, strategies we are teaching our students in each unit. So we did these 2, all right? Pronoun reference in unit 2, and also identifying the purpose of a paragraph in unit 5. All right, now we know the key idea, the main idea of paragraph 2. Now let's find some details from this paragraph about Sao Paulo in Brazil. So you can now scan along the reading and try to answer the questions, try to fill the blanks, okay, on the right. So in 1908, many Japanese people began to move to Brazil to work on, where do they work? Great, coffee plantations, okay? And these Japanese immigrants called Nikkei, yeah, they moved to Sao Paulo and settled in which neighborhood? Do you still remember? Great, Liberdade, right? So they still spoke their native language and they ate food from their own home country, okay? So over time, they opened many Japanese what? Great, markets and restaurants. And what about today? Today, the neighborhood has one of the largest Japanese communities outside Japan, right? So restaurants and markets, they sell what kind of traditional Japanese food? Ramen noodles, great. Okay, and sushi, okay, are widely available. Okay, and then each weekend there is a large street market. Okay, and the event is very popular with both city residents, means locals, and tourists. Great. Okay, so now, okay, we know some interesting facts about Sao Paulo in the past and also today. And now let's read more about Hamamatsu. You may still remember the first part of this paragraph I showed you already, right? So 3 generations later, a reverse migration took place. Over 300,000 Japanese Brazilians moved to Japan, and many settled in Hamamatsu. So now, can you guess what happened after they settled in this coastal city based on what you have just read about Sao Paulo? When Japanese immigrants moved to Sao Paulo and settled there. Do you have any idea? So after they moved, they settled in Hamamatsu. Do they begin to eat Japanese food? Oh, they still miss food from their home country. Okay. They have their own community, right? Just like those Japanese immigrants in Liberdade, right? They have their own community. Great. I think you all have some of your guesses there. They couldn't get used to Japanese culture that quickly or smoothly. Yes, so let's see if your guesses are correct, okay? So yeah, they settled there, and most Japanese Brazilians spoke only their native language. So what is their native language? Not Japanese, right? Portuguese. And they also miss the foods and culture of Brazil. So over time, a number of Brazilian restaurants and stores opened in Hamamatsu. And today, there is still a large Brazilian population in the city. So all over Hamamatsu, food shops and restaurants sell traditional Brazilian foods, such as, we have 2 difficult pronunciation words here.
Such as pão de queijo, a type of bread, and feijoada, a bean stew with beef and pork.
Okay, pão de queijo, okay, it's a type of bread, and feijoada, it's a bean stew. That sounds very yummy. Okay. So you remember we put details about Sao Paulo, okay, in the past and today. So now let's put details about Hamamatsu down. Hopefully you can still remember, when did that happen? Like 3 generations later, in the 1980s, okay? And yeah, Japanese Brazilians began to move back to Japan. Okay, so they work in electronics and automobile or car factories. So they settled in this coastal city, Hamamatsu. They still spoke their native language. What is that? Portuguese. And they missed the foods from their home country. So they opened lots of Brazilian restaurants and stores. What about today? There is a large population, a large Brazilian community. And some Brazilian food are widely available, like pão de queijo. It's a kind of stew or bread. Okay, so yeah, now if we look at the details of these 2 cities, and you may notice, it's actually in a T-chart, right, to compare these 2 cities. And actually, this is one of the new reading strategies we introduce in this unit, okay? As you can see, using a T-chart. So you can see in the previous unit, we just taught our students how to use a concept map to summarize main ideas and supporting details. And in this reading text, we introduced T-chart, still to summarize information, but especially useful when 2 things are discussed or compared. All right, and again, for if you look at the scope and sequence of this level, okay, these are the reading skills we teach in this level. So as you can see, like skimming for gist, identifying main ideas, okay, identifying details, and in this reading text about using a T-chart. All right. Now, through reading, you may also notice words like generation and population in this reading text. So actually, ATION, Asian, is a suffix, right? So in this paragraph, you've seen population, generation. So can you think of other Asian words you have learned or you have seen? Actually, I think in this reading text, we also have like when they first moved to Sao Paulo, they work in coffee plantation, right? Any other Asian words you know? Citation, tradition, great. Communication, information. Any other examples? Okay. Preparation, vibration, participation, registration, donation, etc., etc. Lots of Asian words, okay, we know. So again, actually, this is one of the vocabulary building skills we introduce in this unit, okay? This is the whole activity here, okay, called word forms, okay? We help our students to improve their knowledge in word building, word forms. And it says we can add ATION to some verbs to form nouns, okay? So except for word form activity to help our students improve their knowledge with word parts, word forms, we also always have activities like this called words in context to help our students deal with unfamiliar words in context. So this is the whole activity in this reading text, right? We won't do this activity, but I like the third one very much. Okay, it says a generation is the period of time that it takes for children to A or B. Some of you may say B. It might be true, right? It takes a whole generation to, teach them to learn how to read. But yeah, a generation means, takes the time it takes for children to grow up and become adults. Okay, so then where can you find all the vocabulary building skills? Again, if you look at the second column here under academic skills, then you can see these are the vocabulary building skills we cover in this level. Okay, for example, we teach collocations and phrasal verbs, and also lots of word forms like suffix and prefix, etc. So in this one, we teach suffix ATION to form nouns. Okay, so now let's go back to the question we have at the very beginning. What is the connection between these two cities? Do you think after reading these 3 paragraphs you found your answer? Yes or no? Okay, great. Great, okay, yes. So now you know the connection. And we can always move one step further. So here is another question. Has your country's cuisine been influenced by foreign cuisines? Or you can just think about some cities you know in your country, okay, that have this kind of immigrant communities. Do you know any place in your country? Definitely. Can you give me some examples? So, yeah, Tokyo's is a very mix of different foreign cultures and cuisines, right? Great. Any other places? Okay, Kazuki want to say the same thing about Tokyo. And do you know any other places? Laos, right? So definitely. So if your students, okay, It's this hometown. I don't know whether, Kaifeng. Okay. Wow. Great. I think you all have some ideas, and it's always a good idea, right, to ask your students if they can introduce more to their peer students or even to you as a teacher, right? You may, learn a lot from your students. They can tell you, okay, so what specific foreign cuisines you can find in this city, and do you know the story there? So in this way, we develop our students here critical thinking skills. So if you compare the activities we have done about those basic reading comprehension skill activities and also the vocabulary building skills activities, this one addresses on higher order thinking skills. Okay, and here in this unit, we're doing relating, because we want our students to relate what they have learned, what they have read, to their own world, to their own experience. All right. So, and what kind of critical thinking skills we try to teach our students? Again, go back to the scope and sequence. And if you look at the last column here, okay, you can see different critical thinking skills we teach in different units. For example, like comparing, reflecting, okay, and ranking. And in this unit, for this reading text, is about relating. Okay. Now we're finishing the text. Okay, the last paragraph. Let's just read together. Okay. Today, it's possible to eat excellent Japanese food in Sao Paulo and traditional Brazilian cuisine in Hamamatsu. Whether traveling through Brazil or Japan, it's worth visiting these two cities to experience the taste and cultures of their unique immigrant communities. So here there is a word here, cuisine. Okay, this word can be an unfamiliar word to your students, and it's also a very good example to show you how students can use context to figure out meaning of unfamiliar words. Okay, so actually they will learn this specific strategy later. Okay, it's in the next level in Unit 4. So let's move. Okay, dealing with unfamiliar words using context. So what does that mean? It means you need to look at words around it, okay, and try to guess the meaning. So if you look around, what other words do you think can help your students with the meaning of cuisine? Food, exactly. So because we have, like in the first sentence, Japanese food in Sao Paulo and Brazilian cuisine in Hamamatsu, definitely, right? So it kind of has a similar meaning. It will help our students guess the meaning of cuisine. But actually in this unit, it's still not really a target vocabulary, okay? So that's why we put a footnote here to help our students understand. But I just want to show you this is one good example of using context to guess meaning. Okay, a good example of this vocabulary building strategy. And so we encourage our students to use context to guess meaning of unfamiliar words in the reading text. But actually, it's also very important, even if they use dictionary to check meanings, okay? They probably still need to use context. So we just finished the whole reading. And now if we look back at the title, A Taste of Two Cities. So what does taste mean here? Is it sour? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Okay, so obviously it's a noun, right? A taste. And now I'm giving you 3 definitions from a dictionary, okay, to taste. And if you use the context of what you have just read, the whole reading text, can you choose the best definition for taste here? Okay, we have B, we have C. Any other answer? Oh, also C. Okay, so a taste of these two cities here. Might be, okay, the feeling that each person has about what is attractive, what is appealing. But mainly here, actually, it's about a brief experience, okay? So we want to give you, by reading the text, we want to give our students a short experience about these two cities, although they haven't been there, right? So, and I do hope actually you also have had an amazing taste of these two cities, Sao Paulo in Brazil and Hamamatsu in Japan. And now let's do a bit reflection on what we have done, okay, to this reading text. So actually, there are 6 key principles that our editing team use to develop Reading Explorer 3rd edition. If you want to know more about the details of these key principles, please refer to one of our global webinars, okay, which has been done by our executive editor, Sean Birmingham. The webinar's topic is 7 tips for effective reading. Okay, so you can see how he explains how we use those key principles in this program. I will just briefly, okay, quickly kind of talk about these 6 key principles. So in Reading Explorer, we try to provide, okay, reading text that students want to read. And we also try to provide what they are able to read. We teach pre-reading strategies, okay? We also teach basic reading comprehension strategies and critical thinking skills strategies, okay? We introduce strategies to help our students deal with new words. We also teach them how to summarize what they have learned. So if we look at those principles one by one, the first principle, okay, we provide something they want to read. So how? We give them something real, okay? So everything in every reading text in Reading Explorer is real. It's about real life theme, okay? So in this reading text, it's about 2 cities. There are real cities there, right? And also something relevant, because about this kind of immigrant communities, there are more and more this kind of immigrant communities in different countries, in different cities, right? And we sometimes in reading text in Reading Explorer, you can also find some personal angle or personal stories. So like some people will introduce why they choose what they're doing now and what makes them start their career, etc. And sometimes we also add a little bit mystery in the reading or ask them a question before to raise their interest. So in this reading text, do you still remember the question we asked at the very beginning? Yep, what's the connection between the 2 cities? And also from the first paragraph, why is each country's food so popular in the other, right? Okay, so the second principle, we provide something our students are able to read. And this is the approach we use to grading the passages in Reading Explorer in different levels, okay? Sentence length, how many words are there in each sentence? Passage length, the words for the whole reading text. Grammars we use in different levels, vocabulary we use in different levels, and topic complexity. I want to show you some statistics. So if you think back about this reading text we have just done, there are 4 paragraphs, and you may feel, okay, paragraph 1 and 4 comparatively easier, and 2 and 3 a bit longer and a bit more difficult. So let's take paragraph C, the 3rd paragraph, as an example, okay? I'll show you some statistics here. If we analyze this paragraph, okay, we put them in some tool, then you can see, okay, out of this reading paragraph, we can see over 74% are A1 to B1 words, because we say this level is for A2 to B1 students, okay? We have actually 5 above B1 words and many unlisted words. And if we look in at the details, okay, so you can see unlisted are those black words. If you look at those black words, actually they're all names of places, of people, of food, like Nikkei, Brazilian, Japan, Japanese, okay, Hamamatsu, Sao Paulo, Portuguese, and the food names, Podo, Gejo, Feijoada, etc. So they won't affect our students' reading. And then if you look at the words, the above B1 words, so B2 and C1 words in green or in blue, if you check what they are, so you can see, oh, settle in, okay? And then reverse migration began to take place, okay? And they work in electronics and automobile factories. So then you may notice actually all these above B1 level words, if we put them in the reading context, they won't affect our students' reading and understanding, okay? So it means students can still manage, okay, reading this reading text. The third principle, okay, we teach our students pre-reading strategies. So for this reading text, we did use lots of photos and image, right, before we started reading. We also did one pre-reading activity, matching definitions to those 3 keywords. We didn't do anything about skimming, because otherwise you will know all the answers to my questions in the session, okay? And then principle number 4, we teach our students a basic reading comprehension skills and also critical thinking skills. So the reading comprehension skills examples we've done, those 2, hope you still remember, right? Identifying the key purpose and also referencing. And we did 2 critical thinking skills examples. One is to guess, okay? After you read the first part of paragraph C, and then we ask our students to guess what happened after those Japanese Brazilians settled in Hamamatsu. And also another critical thinking skill activity to think about the influence of foreign cuisines on their own communities, okay? So in this way, we make sure our students really react to what they're reading. Okay, and the last one, okay, we also teach our students, not the last one, okay, the second last one, the 5th principle. We teach our students vocabulary building strategies. So you might still remember we use context to encourage our students to get the meaning of some unfamiliar words. And also we introduce the knowledge of word parts in this reading text, ATION, to form nouns. The last one about teach our students how to summarize what they have read. One of the most effective approach is using graphic organizers, right? And in this reading text, we just learned how to use T-chart to summarize information. And especially it's useful to compare. So by looking at these 6 key principles again, okay, you can see even just this specific reading text reflects all of them, okay? So hopefully this can also give you an idea of what Reading Explorer looks like and why we believe actually it reflects a very effective approach to teaching and learning. reading. Reading Explorer 3rd edition also has this companion site, as you can see on the top, okay, which provides lots of useful resources for teachers to download to help with their teaching. So as you can see, if you choose one level, then you can see teachers can download audio, video scripts, etc., vocabulary list, and also lots of worksheets and also tests for teachers to use for their teaching. Except for the companion site, we also have an online practice site, MyELT. And again, this is the URL there, okay? So where you may see this is for this unit, and this is for reading B, the second reading. So you can see more vocabulary activity, more reading comprehension activity, more reading skills activity, okay? So you and your students can find extra reading text and activities. Teachers can also assign different activities to your students, and students, they do activities and then they can get feedback, check their answers immediately. We do believe that learning doesn't just stop in the books. So MyELT is a great at-home learning platform, okay? And all students' results can be tracked by the teachers. Okay, if you're interested to know more about MyELT, please do contact our National Geographic Learning sales reps. In the end, I want to share with you a quote from Ansel Adams. So he said, "Every experience is a form of exploration." And I hope you and your students, if you use Reading Explorer, can explore in all the reading text in this program and experience the world, and make your reading an amazing exploration with Reading Explorer. So now, Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can type in the chat box, and Andrew and I will help answer questions now.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kitty. So yeah, because we've got a small audience today, please feel free to ask questions, because you've got plenty of chances to get your questions answered directly from Kitty or other members of the team here today.
Thank you, Waruni. So yeah, I love Reading Explorer too. Can always learn lots, right, from different reading texts. Any questions you have? Thank you, Julie.
I think people are thinking of their questions.
All right, yeah.
Just to note as well, in case anyone was wondering, what Kitty showed today in terms of the reading and the exercises, it was 1/2 of one of the units in Reading Explorer. And I mentioned at the beginning, to go through the entire section in full detail would have taken about 2 hours probably. So Kitty was brushing over a couple of points today just because of the time. But with students, obviously, we take a little bit more time to discuss and read in detail as well, and to do activities in a little more depth.
Yeah, for this reading text, I only, like, for example, the reading comprehension, I only showed you 2 examples, but there are 5 questions. So in total, I kind of showed you 1/4, okay,
yeah.
Of all the activities for this reading text. It's a beautiful book, yeah. Fascinating book.
And the other thing at the end of, after 2 readings as well, there's also a viewing section, right? For those of you who aren't familiar, which involves video and understanding more from video as well.
Yeah, and for that video lesson, we already designed lots of pre-watching, while watching, and after watching activities. We have one question from Kosuki. Which do you think is better, reading the whole of a text at one time, or reading each paragraph of it and check the meaning or content each time, like we did? Well, my response to this question would be not necessarily to be like what we did this time. So every reading text, as you can see, we have different purposes, okay, and different reading skills we introduce. For example, if in one reading text we want to teach our students, for example, skimming for gist, then that means what they need to do is to just skim quickly, right? The whole reading text. And sometimes we teach them like, okay, finding the main idea, etc. It based on different, you are teaching target, okay? So what do you want to teach your students? What do you want them to gain? So we kind of do different activities to reach different purpose of our teaching. So for this one, it's because I want to for example, paragraph 3, I want you to do a guessing, predicting activity. That's why I stopped when I finished the first part of that paragraph, right? And then for example, if I want my students to really practice their vocabulary building skills, then you might want your students to read one paragraph in details. So it depends. Yeah, sometimes we ask them to read the whole text just so that they won't stop from here and there. And we want them to just read through and then get the main idea. Here is another one. I think it's from Phone from Vietnam. We are using Reading Explorer 2, you mean level 2, for students lower intermediate, but a lot of them have problems understanding the text. I asked them to translate. They say a different meaning. Read out loud and translate. Okay. We do have all, this program actually used so differently in different places. Ooh, it goes too fast. I lost that question. Okay, so in most places, this program, Reading Explorer, is used to like high school students and even university school students. But we do have different places where this program is used for high primary school students and junior high school students. So yeah, but definitely their age group may affect their understanding of the reading text. So I won't really give you a just direct answer, say this is what you should do, but some possible answers to this question is probably, either the level is not suitable for your current students who are using level 2. Maybe it's a better idea if they start from a lower level, like foundations level or level 1. Because based on the approach I showed you that we are using in this program, the vocabulary and also the length of the reading text and also the reading ease, okay, how easy when you read a text has already been scientifically controlled in each level. You can see a smooth progress from foundations level to the last one, to level 5. So if they follow all the levels, like if they start from foundations, they should be able to read which level they are in now.
If I can just add to that as well, Kitty,
yes,
because there's a couple of questions there about, is there a Reading Explorer for younger levels, and what about beginner level ESL learners? One thing to remember is that sometimes programs are designed with a specific age group in mind because of some of the concepts that are in the reading. So for example, one of the concepts today was the idea of moving to another country for work, okay, of migrating, right? And
Yep.
obviously that's more of an adult concept. It's not something that children do.
Right.
Would children understand that concept even in their own native language? And so sometimes when people are asking about, is there this type of book for a different type of learner, sometimes you don't just want to look at the words or the difficulty level of the text. You want to look at the concepts in the
Yeah.
text as well. So if we're looking at like beginning learners who are younger, then it might be that this program is not the best fit, but as a publisher, obviously we provide other options for different types of developmentally appropriate materials that fit with each type of student, right?
Yeah.
But if you like the idea of Reading Explorer as a teacher, you can say, well, look, I love this program, but my students are this age. Then, you know, talking to someone who knows the full range of products lets you find a good fit for your students.
You
And that's
can,
really important.
yeah, pick some topics. Then because as teachers, when we look at programs, it's not only about language level, just as Andrew mentioned, it's also about their cognitive level. So yeah, I think definitely the topics themselves, can influence your students' understanding and their reading. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're a teacher who likes the idea of Reading Explorer, but you're like, this is a bit too difficult for my type of student, maybe my students are primary school, right, or intermediate school students, then there are other programs like Reach Higher, like Impact. There are different programs that we have that are available for those kind of students as well. So just ask and we can try and help.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Kitty. I think we've managed to answer the general questions. Rooney says, I agree with your ideas. Using Reading Explorer 4 to 5 for teaching vocab. I taught some and left some of them for to guess with context, clues, skimming, demonstrate some paragraphs, allow them to read their own. Yeah, and I think, Waruni, what you're saying as well is the more you know your own students, the more you can adapt exactly what you do in class to the needs of your students, right? And teachers always know their students better than anyone else. So you do adapt and you do deal with a book or a text based on the the specific things that your students need, right? No, that's really great.
There's
Okay.
another question from Xin Han Su. We will share the recording of this session after.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I will
You can
provide you
always,
with a link where
yeah.
you can download the whole session as well, Shehan. So if you're looking for this one, we can just give you the whole recording. I will send that out a little later after. We'll do a little bit of light editing on some of the points, and then we will send it out afterwards. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Kitty.
All right. Thank you,
There we
everyone.
go. Great job. So thanks again to Kitty, and thank you all for attending today. It's good, as I said, small group, you get to ask lots of questions, so that's nice. If you want to find out more about what we're doing in English language teaching at National Geographic Learning, you can see the Facebook page there and the QR code. Sign up, you can get more information from us if you wish. And always just feel free to keep in touch. We do have several more webinars coming up. Similar to this one, but on other topics and maybe for other age groups, including some about teaching online. I know a lot of teachers right now are moving into online teaching. So please keep an eye out for those. And if you're on the Facebook page, you will see the advertisements for those pop up as well. So until then, thank you very much. And we hope you have a great weekend and stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.